After another fun week of basketball games in the NBA, we are back here at the Young Man Squad Fantasy Basketball recap things from a Dynasty perspective now that I can get myself back on this screen. This show is part of the Old Man Squad Sports Network, part of the Believe Network, and presented to you by our partners at FanDuel. I'm your host, as always, Noah Rubin. We've got 10 players to talk about that have been playing pretty well and why it matters in your Dynasty league. We'll go ahead and get right into things for the sake of time so we're not over talking, because I can do that as I'm doing right now. Trey Murphy is the first player I want to talk about this season, averaging 17.8 points, 6.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.2 steals, shooting 43.4% from the floor, and also, of course, hitting 2.9 three-pointers per game, shooting his typical elite 95.7% from the free throw. And that's not his typical number. It's typically elite. That's just the number. Only turning it over one time per game, which is down from 1.9 last season. His usage is down this year, but the last few games, no Zion Williamson, so his usage has gone up. Few rough performances or mid performances in there, but he's been able to, let's see, looking back, first 4 games, hit a total of 5 3-pointers, had 2 games where he scored 7 in each, then had 3 games in a row where he hit 5 threes, had a rough game where he only hit 1, scored 11 points. Then this past game on Saturday night against the Spurs, had 41 points, 5 3-pointers, 9 boards. Took 22 shots, which was a season high. 6 free throws were a season high. This is the type of usage that Trey Murphy should be getting this season, with the Pelicans not having Zion, not having Jordan Poole. And even when they do have those players, Trey Murphy should be getting this type of usage. I think Trey Murphy's an all-star talent, but it only seems that he's able to get the chance when they have injuries. He's good enough that should not be the case, but it has been the case. It's, the way things have gone in New Orleans this season, starting off 0-6, winning 2 games, now losing 1. There's been some ugly games in there, but there's also been some pretty competitive games. They played the Spurs competitively both times, almost beat the Clippers on the road. Dallas and Charlotte haven't been great this year, so those are 2 wins against not very good teams. We'll say not very good teams. I don't want to say definitely not playoff teams because it's a long season, but teams that have not played like playoff teams to this point, I think that's fair. But Trey Murphy is really, really good, and he might be better for fantasy basketball than he is in real life, but he's still incredibly talented and very good in real life as well. The points and threes are both down from last season. Honestly, if we're looking at just like strictly 9-cap value, the rebounds are up. The free throw percentage is up, but he's not shooting as many. It's still early. The turnovers are down. He's not having as good of a season as he did last year. And the field goal percentage is also down. So I think we can be happy that Trey Murphy was able to have this really big game and kind of recognize, okay, this dude is still really talented. It was just a slower start, but maybe we can temper our expectations a tad for, multiple reasons, such as why hasn't he been kind of prioritized as a start? Is this just Willie Green? Is it because we see what happens when Zion isn't playing? Or at least but it took until this past game. So Trey Murphy's still very talented. I think maybe we can temper our expectations a little bit. Maybe my expectations were just too high for him and thinking that he was better than he is. And I'm not saying that, oh no, this guy isn't good. I'm just saying this has been a very good opportunity for him to kind of break out, and it hasn't happened up until this last game. So we'll see. Maybe this is a sign that things are going to start picking up for him. I'll be keeping an eye on it. They have 4 games this week. First one's against the Suns, and they got Portland, the Lakers, the Warriors, and then after that, the Thunder and the Nuggets. So things are not going to get easier in New Orleans. This team has got a good chance at being back in the lottery, which, of course, the pick goes to the Hawks. Yeah, not looking up. I guess the positive here for Trey Murphy is that they're not going to draft a wing in the top 3 this year because they're not going to have a pick for that. I still think, I guess to sum up, and so I'm not just going in circles here for Trey Murphy, I think he's really talented. I think he is a all-star talent. I think he is elite in fantasy basketball. I am tempering my expectations for him this season based on how he started, but also still remaining hopeful that this is a sign of things to come uh, with this last game. So we'll see if he's able to keep it going. He's got Dylan Brooks on him tonight. Yes. Should be. I don't think Dylan Brooks is going to miss that game. He just returned for the last one. Also Ryan Dunn. So not easy matchups, but you know what? In basketball, good players, they have good nights, even against tough matchups. So we'll see if Trey Murphy's able to make that happen. Overall, let's see. I guess I can pull up if we can get his where I had him ranked in Dynasty before this season. That's probably a good place to start. I had him 27th. Maybe that's a touch high, but we'll reevaluate soon. I still think he has the type of talent, just hasn't been playing to that level at this point. So we're keeping an eye on it. We're not, no action to take here, I guess is kind of the best way for me to put that. We'll move on before I, like I said, continue talking circles. Deni Avdija is the next player I want to talk about because the expectations were high for him this year. And the start of the season wasn't bad, but it wasn't meeting the expectations. But last few games have been very good. This season, he's averaging 25.3 points, 7 rebounds, 4.9 assists, just under a steal, just under a block, 2.3 threes. The assists, threes, points would all be career highs for him. 48% from the floor is better than he shot last season, where he was at 47.6%, but that includes a very poor start to the season. He was scoring a lot at the beginning. That's kind of been there consistently. Has less than 20 points, only one game. But last 3 games, he's averaging 30.7 points, 9 boards, 6.3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 2.3 threes, shooting over 90% from the free throw line. Plenty of turnovers, but he's a high usage player. Very, very productive. We, like I said, had high expectations for Deni entering the season, and he's been able to play to that level, arguably even better. I mean, per basketball monster, straight 9-cat ranking. He's 44th. During this 3-game stretch, small sample size, can't look into the number too strongly, but 6th during that. And again, caveat, 9-cat value does not tell the whole story. It tells a story, or it tells part of a story. So yes, very happy with how Deni Avdija has played to this point this season. The last 3 games have been great. They've got 4 games this week, starting in Orlando tonight. That'll be the rest of this 5-game road trip for them. But yeah, it's looking worse and worse. This Wizards-Blazers trade that sent Deni to Portland. I believe it was the 14th pick they got back, which was Bub Carrington, who's been good, and I still think has plenty of upside. But Deni is playing. Maybe it won't happen in the West just because there's so many guys, but like an all-star caliber production, which is what we care about in fantasy basketball. So good start to the season for him. We'll see if he's able to keep this thing going. We've got 10 players to talk about today, so we're going to keep it pushing. Next up, we've got Jaylen Tyson, who we've talked about a few times. But I feel like he's like, if a player is playing well, I don't want to not talk about them just because I've talked about them previously. I think talking about them more just emphasizes how important it is. This season, averaging 11.3 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 1.1 steals, just under a block, 2.2 threes, shooting 51.3% from the floor. All that career highs. 25.3 minutes, by far career high. He has been really, really good this year. Small sample size, as it is with everybody at this point, but he's been good. 22 years old, turns 23 next month. Cavs picked him 20th overall, summer of 2024. Was in the starting lineup to start the year, then came off the bench a few games, and then 5 of the last 6 games has started, scored double digits in every single one of those games with multiple threes, multiple rebounds, multiple assists in most of those, getting steals, getting blocks. Let's see. Yeah, been really, really good. Now things are getting a little bit more complicated because Darius Garland's back. The rest of the team somewhat healthy. Max Strus is really the only guy that has a chance to start that isn't healthy right now. And I don't know, maybe Strus starts, maybe DeAndre Hunter starts. Either way, Jaylen Tyson probably loses out on some minutes. But he's been really good, and I think that's absolutely notable. I think I made this point in a previous podcast that this guy could end up being the 5th starter, assuming that this Cavs core sticks together. Like maybe Jaylen Tyson becomes a starter by next season or the year after. Too many rotating pieces in the NBA to say that that is like definitive. But I think he's got a chance. I think he's played well enough to earn that chance. Also, just one more quick plug for it. Did have him as a preseason Dynasty sleeper. So this isn't just, hey, this guy's playing well. Cool. It's, hey, this guy, has a chance to be good this year, take advantage of it, and he has. So good to see that. I think he's definitely got a good bit of value in Dynasty League. So where did I have him preseason? So Deni Avdija I had 45th because I don't think I mentioned that. Jaylen Tyson I had 216. Absolutely inside the top 200, maybe even higher at this point. We'll see where he falls next time I do a rankings update. Moving right along. Next up, we've got Jaden McDaniels, who we've known for a while is an elite defender, but he's been really good offensively this season. I think that's what's been impressive. Because, he stepped up with no Anthony Edwards, and with Anthony Edwards back, he's still able to score very well. This season, averaging 18.6 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.1 assists, just under a steal. I guess part of the issue with him in the past was that he was a really good defender, didn't get too many defensive stats, but last year he was at 1.3 steals, 0.9 blocks. So far this year, he's at 0.8 steals and 1.5 blocks. Would love to see him be over a steal and a block per game. 2 3-pointers, shooting 55.9% from the floor, which I think it's pretty easy to go ahead and pencil that in as outlier shooting. I don't think he's going to stay this hot offensively, but he's been really good and perhaps is, better offensively. Like he is growing. He is getting better on offense. The usage is up. The points are up. The shot attempts are like everything is up. I don't think he's going to be able to maintain 56% shooting from the floor. I think that's going to dip. Could it stay over 50%? Perhaps. If it goes under, I'm not concerned. I think he is a better offensive player than he has been in the past. I think he is still a high-level defender, and I think that the defensive stats will fluctuate. That's just what happens. And honestly, I'm like, let's see if we check out our partners at FanDuel. I'm going to see if this is without me having checked this previously, which typically I would do. I want to see where he is for most improved player. Well, we can go ahead and plug this here. Deni Avdija is second for most improved player behind Josh Giddey. I want to see if Jay McDaniels is on here at all. Oh, he is. Okay, plus 7,500 to win most improved. That's way down the list. Same odds as a handful of players like Shaedon Sharpe, Donovan Clingan, Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Alex Sarr, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jarris Walker, AJ Green, Tumani Kamara, Josh Minot, Trendon Watford. It's like a bunch of players. Jaden McDaniels is in that range for most improved player currently. I think that's good value because I think he has a legit chance to make a push for the award. I think it's probably going to be difficult to beat out guys like Josh Giddey, Deni Avdija, Ryan Rollins, who are right at the top, Austin Reeves, Keyshawn George to an extent, Jalen Duren. There's multiple players Ajay Mitchell. I'm not huge on second-year players winning the award, though. I stand by that. But I think some of these guys, most of those guys I mentioned aren't second years, but a couple are, can have made legit strides. So maybe Jaden McDaniels, I mean, he shouldn't be currently the favorite for the award, but I think he can make an outside push for it. Perhaps that's more just to say, hey, this guy is a dynasty riser, which is kind of the point of me bringing him up in this episode. All right, next up, we've got Immanuel Quickley to talk about because he started off the season kind of slow, was pretty disappointing. I've seen a lot of Raptors fans not happy with him on Twitter, which is, it's always, I feel like, good perspective on how to value players based on what the fans say. And I'm not saying fans are 1,000% right all the time, or 1,000's like no reason to exaggerate that. But don't think that fans are always right. But like, you have the people that are following the team closer than anyone else, how frustrated they are. Like, okay, do the box score stats line up with what the fans are saying? I think that's always a good angle just to get you started on how to view a player. So with that being said, I had seen frustrations. I haven't seen them as much recently. It could just be just because I haven't seen them. But Quickley has been producing at a higher level recently. Over the course of the season, averaging 14.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1.4 steals, 2 3-pointers, shooting just 40.5% from the floor and 76.9% from the line. Neither is great. Last 3 games, though, averaging 18.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 3.3 threes, shooting 42.9% from the floor and 81.8% from the line. So hitting more shots, more active on the glass. Don't know if that sticks, but more points, more threes, better shooting percentages. Last game, 22, 6, and 6 with 5 threes. Best, season high for points. Not a season high for assists, but good to see him figuring things out on offense. He's a really talented player. I think we were expecting the breakout last year. Didn't happen. Was expecting it to happen this year now. It was kind of a slow start, but we'll see if maybe this is something where he's able to get going, kind of build off this last performance. Let's see. They got 3 games this week. I have Quickley ranked 70th preseason. I think that's going to end up being too high, and he's probably going to drop. I still think should be ranked inside the top 100, probably closer to top 80 to 90. But we'll see. Small sample size so far this season, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on how he progresses to see where he moves in the next Dynasty update, which who knows how much time he'll have before that happens. So next up, I know we've talked about him before as well, but we got to talk about Ajay Mitchell. I think we're going to have to talk about him a lot, and we might have to get the guys from Angle Fantasy Basketball to come and talk to us about Ajay Mitchell because they found him first. But it's always good to talk about Ajay Mitchell because he's been really good for the Thunder this year. Did not have him penciled in for a breakout season. Started off the year playing incredibly well off the bench. Last 3 games has been in the starting lineup. During those games, averaging 20 points, 5.7 assists, 5 rebounds, 1.3 threes, 2.3 steals, shooting the ball well. Over the course of the season, averaging 17.2 points, 4 boards, 4.2 assists, 1.8 steals, 1.3 threes, 46.2% from the floor, 93.2% from the line. Great. 4 attempts per game, so it's not, league altering like SGA, Trae Young, Joel Embiid, Giannis type attempts. Other names as well that get to the free throw line. Those are just the first 4 that came to mind. But he's hitting them at a high rate. Only missed, it looks like 3 so far this season. So good to see. Yeah, he's been good. He came in as an older prospect. He's 23 now. And I'm curious to see where he fits into this rotation when everyone is healthy. Because Jalen Williams hasn't played this year. Lou Dort's been in and out of the lineup. Chet Holmgren's been in and out of the lineup. Aaron Wiggins has been in and out of the lineup. Alex Caruso's been in and out of the lineup. Like, Nikola Topic hasn't played yet, which don't know when that'll be the case. If it is at all this season, wouldn't be shocking if it's not. Like, obviously, way bigger things than basketball going on in his life. So we hope that he is able to recover. But there's a lot of just things that have opened the door for Ajay Mitchell to get minutes early on this year. Will that continue when this team is healthy? It's a great issue to have because Ajay Mitchell is pushing players like Alex Caruso, Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe has been able to play, but hasn't really gotten as much of an opportunity just because, despite all the injuries, Ajay Mitchell's playing this well. But I'm curious to see what his role looks like. But again, the most important thing is the data point of, hey, this dude is freaking good. Whether it be with the Thunder, or Casey Wallace has also been in and out of the lineup. That's another thing. Goodness, this team is so freaking deep. And they can have another. How many first-round picks do they have this year? Right now, they have 3 currently, and it's based on Tankathon, whatever ends up happening. The Clippers, which was 7th best lottery odds right now. Philadelphia's, which is 19th, and the Rockets, which would be 23rd. So 3 more first-round picks. Okay, what? And so this trade, I'm getting curious about Tankathon. There's a lot of weird stuff with this trade, so I'm not going to try and. Oh wait, never mind. Thinking of something different. Never mind. Lots of draft capital for the Thunder here. Don't know how I'm getting into that, but Ajay Mitchell, really good. Will he stick around in OKC? Will they be forced to trade him? Will he sign elsewhere when his next time he hits free agency just because they can't afford to keep him? Lots of unknown here, but when he gets the opportunity to play a lot, he is really good. Will he be so good that they don't want to part with him and end up parting with someone else? That's very possible. But man, Ajay Mitchell, shout out to him. He has been hooping. I have him 211 preseason. That's going way up. Way up. I'm pretty confident at least top 150, if not higher. We'll see. Maybe top 125 push. And that's just off of a small sample size of the season, which I shouldn't be overreacting like this, but it's very difficult for me to not because of how well he's been playing consistently on a really good team. A lot to be excited about with Ajay Mitchell. Got a couple of Hawks to talk about because I got to always slide in my own team, apparently, whether I like it or not. And I do enjoy it. I do. Especially when these guys are playing well. First one, Zachary Risachet, who has been good the last few games. Started off the season kind of slow. Meh. Last 3 games averaging 18.7 points, 3.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.7 steals, 2.3 threes, shooting 45.5% from the floor. He can shoot for sure. Getting defensive stats definitely helps. Over the last, let's see, he has at least 1 steal in 6 straight games with 2 steals in 3 of those. So if he's getting the steals, he's hitting threes. That's probably the most important thing because it's kind of a 3-and-D wing. If he's getting defensive stats and hitting threes, it's great. More involved on offense with Trae Young out and the Hawks missing everyone basically in their last game. Last game was against the Lakers, blowout win, which was surprising. No Trae Young, no Jalen Johnson, no Nickeil Alexander-Walker, no Kristaps Porzingis, no Luke Kennard. Hawks still won by 20. Crazy. Reese Shea had 19 points in that game, 16 the game before that, 21 the game before that. His minutes are still really wonky. Quinn Snyder doesn't like playing him typical starters minutes. Thought that was just a rookie thing, but it's been a sophomore thing as well. We'll see how much that continues. Kind of interesting trend. I don't think he's a phenomenal fantasy basketball player. I think he's better in real life than he is in fantasy. But good to see him getting things going. The 2024 number 1 overall pick. Let's see. I had him ranked preseason 110. Feel fine about that. Maybe bump him down a few spots, not because he's played bad, just because some other players have played better. But don't hate that range. Maybe a touch lower. Might playing well right now. The other player that has been surprisingly dominant, small sample size, Muhammad Gay, who started in place of Jalen Johnson in the Hawks' last game. He started both times that Jalen Johnson has been out. The first one, he had 11 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 2 threes. That was pretty good. The game before that one, 13, 8, and 3 with a block and 2 threes. Jalen Johnson was in foul trouble. Outside of that, the minutes have been pretty inconsistent, anywhere from single digits to high teens. But last game, 34 minutes, 21, 7, and 7 with 2 steals and a block, 4 threes, 8 of 12 shooting. He's got so much upside. He just turned 23 years old yesterday. Happy birthday. Happy belated to Mama Gay. I don't know exactly how this situation ends up playing out in Atlanta. As they have Jalen Johnson, who's an all-star talent, is hopefully not going anywhere. Reese Shea, who they just drafted with the number 1 overall pick. Coughlin, Porzingis at center. Dyson Daniels, Trey Young at guard spots. But Mama Gay's path to minutes is probably at the 4. I think him and Jalen Johnson could be fine. Like that could work next to each other in the front court, but they do have Reese Shea. So I don't know if this is he just ends up being a player where it's like we're begging for more minutes for a few seasons, and then he finally gets the opportunity either in Atlanta or elsewhere consistently, and he becomes a fantasy stud. But I think this is absolutely he's a player that's worth stashing in dynasty leagues. I had him. Let's see where I had him. 283 preseason. I think he's absolutely done enough to shoot up the rankings. Probably still outside the top 200, maybe inside. But there is a good bit of unknown. But I think if we're excluding or taking out any situation question marks, he's shown that he can be productive in a large role, well-rounded production, multiple categories, a lot to like here for fantasy basketball. So really excited with what we've seen from him in just a couple of games. He's worth stashing. Stash him in your dynasty league. Got 2 more players to talk about. 2 players from the 2024 class. The reigning rookie of the year is the first one we'll talk about. So this is a nice 2024 class episode. Stephon Castle. And the reason that we're going to talk about him is because De'Aaron Fox is back. And my thing with Stephon Castle was I think he's good. I don't think he's as good for fantasy basketball as he is in real life, but I think he's good. But they just drafted Dylan Harper and they have De'Aaron Fox. So Fox is the best guard now. Harper's the best guard in the future. Where does Castle fit in? I thought as soon as Fox came back, okay, Castle's in an off-ball role. That's not great, but just looking at his entire season, 18.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 1.9 steals, 1.1 threes, 49.1% from the floor. Big step up from last year. Free throws are still bad, and the turnovers are very bad, but they're getting a little bit better. He had at least 5 in the first for each of the first 4 games, including a 9 turnover game there. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, some sites had that at 10. So that could have been a little, actually, 10 turnover game from what I remember. So, but the last 2 games, game before Fox makes his debut, 13 assists. They add in De'Aaron Fox, and he gets 14 assists. So if the idea is for Castle to be the primary ball handler and De'Aaron Fox to be not that he doesn't have the ball because he's going to get the ball as much as he wants, but use Castle as a setup man and Fox as just more of a scoring option, I think that works out great for the team. And I think it helps Castle maintain a level of fantasy value. Now, I do think also that could have been it's De'Aaron Fox's first game back. He played 30 minutes. Let's get him reacclimated. Let's not overexpend him by having him have the ball in his hands the whole game. Let's make it a little easier on him. Let's get him some buckets. Let's get him some confidence. Get him into the swing of things, basically. We'll have to keep an eye on how they continue to use Castle over the next couple of weeks. But this first game was very excited by how they use him because that means he can still maintain a level of fantasy value. I had him 95th preseason, so just inside the top 100. I think that if he's able to maintain this type of production, then we're pretty happy with that. I don't know how much I'd raise him up. He might even be dropped by some spots at this time next year. But a lot to like and some to dislike from Castle's start to the season. Last player we're going to talk about today is Reed Sheppard, who started off the year slow, but I think it was probably just some unfair expectations placed on him. Plus, he was in the first NBA game played in this regular season as they were bringing games on NBC back. Kind of started off slow. Last 3 games scored in double digits in all of them. Last 2 games, 16 points and 4 3-pointers in each. This season playing 21.8 minutes per game, averaging 11.2 points, 2.1 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.3 threes, 1.3 steals, 2.6 3-pointers per game. I think we need to just take a breath when it comes to Reed Sheppard. We just need to realize a couple things. One, he's 21 years old. This is his first time being a real rotation player in the NBA, second season in the NBA. He's small. NBA.com has him listed 6'2", 185. Not a big guard. Wasn't a primary ball handler in college. Trying to have him have the ball in his hands more. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, especially against some really good defenses. But he also had elite defensive production, elite shooting production in college. There's a lot to like from a spreadsheet perspective. And I don't think he just looks like a bad basketball player when I've watched. I think we just need to give him time to figure things out. This Rockets team is ready to win now, so they don't have to give him all of the rotation minutes. So we might have to deal with him not playing a ton of times when he doesn't have a shot going. The last 2 games, he's played more minutes with his shot going. But that might not happen all season. There's going to be bumps and bruises, highs and lows, but long-term, still a lot to like with Reed Sheppard. Maybe this is a good opportunity to buy low. The last few games probably hurt that a little bit. He's going to be just fine. I think it's kind of my main point. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Young Man Squad Fantasy Basketball Podcast, which is part of the Old Man Squad Sports Network, part of the Believe Network, and presented to you by our partners at FanDuel. We will have more episodes this week. I'm not going to put a number on it because I don't know how many we're going to end up having, but the plan is for more. But I will see you guys then.